Hello, Gun Nation. Big Johnson coming at you. All right. If y'all can see me or hear me, all that good stuff, give me a thumbs up. Let me know. We're going to go ahead and get this thing kicked off. So someone let me know. We're going to start a little early. Get this cranking for y'all. We'll probably have a delay, so. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Am I talking to myself? Hopefully not. All right. It works, I guess. Didn't look absolutely terrible. Okay, I see you. Okay, you're good. All right. Thank you, Guy Comment. Hunts for Food. How's everyone doing? Scott, Frank, C. Kim, Ball and Curious. You're talking to yourself. Yeah. Well, if I talk to myself, I know someone's listening. How about that? Good to go. We'll give it a few more minutes, let more people jump in. Did want to, in case he's watching, I haven't seen him yet. He said he's going to watch tonight. I'm in Oklahoma and was working today, and I was actually recognized. The guy came up to me and said, "Are you Big Johnson?" And I was like, "Big Johnson," or he said, "Are you Big Johnson from YouTube?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so he goes, "Oh, yeah, I watch your videos." And I was like, "That's cool." So I told him I'd give him a shout out. His name is Brian H. I will not say his last name, but Brian H. So if he happens to be on, appreciate you, Brian H. Nice meeting you today. So just wanted to give him a little shout out because it's cool when you can meet people, shake their hand, all that good stuff. But holster commercial before chat tonight. Yeah, I just figured I'd put it up there because everybody, I mean, I even have 3 or 4 questions. Hey, what's your lock code? What's your Harry's holster code? So I figured I'd just throw them up there. If y'all want to use them, you can. I'll turn them off in just a second. All right. Thanks, Bald and Curious. I appreciate it. You know, I got a face for radio. How about that? Hello, Sig. Hello, Dexter. Double B, Fina. Double B. All right. So we'll go ahead and kick this off here. Let me pop that, and then we will get into the questions and comments. All right. Let's see here. Mark that off. Okay. Real quick, I didn't know if y'all had seen it, but we'll go ahead and get into it. Have y'all seen the gun that Daniel Defense is thinking about releasing? They're trying to get feedback to see if they should release these pistols. I didn't know if y'all had seen it. I saw it. If you have, put it in the comments if you've seen the new Daniel Defense pistols that they're thinking about releasing. And then I'll tell you who. Yeah, 17 is actually tied up. You know, he's in the process of moving. He said that a couple of times on the chat, so he's super, super busy. So I told him that I'd go ahead and take it. And yeah, it's hot in Oklahoma. I told him that I'd go ahead and take it. And we would get this going. Because like I said, we want to keep this Wednesday deal going. Seen the 320 Customs from Sig Sauer. Yeah, I have. But Daniel Defense is actually thinking, and they're asking for people's opinion if they should do it. The pistols are basically the Hudson H9. They're looking at a polymer version and then the steel version, but they are basically the Hudson H9. And I don't know if they're going to do it. I don't know if they're just talking about it, if it's even real or not. I don't know, but they're asking for people's feedback. So I didn't know if y'all had seen that and what you think about it. Would you be interested in picking up a Hudson H9? I know Bald has one and some other people. But yeah, Double B, that's kind of my opinion. I'm like, I don't think you should do it unless they do it and they know that every single thing is going to work perfectly and they have all of the manufacturing down to a T. And also the bad thing is if they kind of take it over and maybe they buy the patent or do whatever they're going to do, what are they going to do with all the people that already had the bad guns from Hudson? Some of them never even received their guns back that were in Hudson's possession, and they've been out a gun. So I don't know. I mean, if they buy Hudson's inventory and they buy Hudson's patent, are they going to buy Hudson's problem? So you never know. But I guess we will see what they're going to do. All right. Yeah, the H9. I've played with, the Hudson. I mean, I've just kind of played with it in the store when it first came out and stuff. I thought it's going to be a pretty cool gun, but I have heard, and of course, KS had some issues with his. I don't know if Bald's had any problems with his. I don't think he has, but, and on the ones they were showing, it did not have an optic ready version, just on the ones that they were showing in the picture. So I don't know. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Double B. There's a lot of guns that people sent in for repair, and then when Hudson went belly up, the customers never got their guns back, even their defective guns. They just never got them back. So that's a bad deal. Oh, that's cool. Double B got him a Desert Eagle and 45 ACP. That's cool. It's kind of like a Jericho style. Yeah, those are cool. All right. I have not played with a Ruger 9mm PCC. I've seen them and all that stuff, and I have a PCC. PCCs are fun as heck, but I have not shot the Ruger 9mm PCC. I've just seen them. The little one, that pistol version that they have, I've seen it, but I haven't shot them. So I don't know, and none of my friends have them. But I'm sure that they're good. Let's see here. Okay. So let's get, now also I wanted to ask y'all what y'all thought about the new Trijicon RMR CC. If you haven't seen it, it's their little narrow one for like the Glock 43, Glock 48, for slimline pistols, but it's exactly like an RMR. It's narrower and shorter. I still think it's kind of tall, but what do y'all think about the Trijicon RMR CC? Is that something that you're interested in? Or would you stay with the Holosun like 407, 507? What's your thoughts on that? Because if you look at it, it's exactly what Holosun 407 and 507 Cs were looking like, with the big buttons on the side. And I guess that's what Trijicon was suing them over. So they had to change it to put the little buttons on it. But I thought that was pretty crazy. But didn't know if y'all had seen it. Yeah, and that's what I was thinking too, Indie Irish, that it is a response to Holosun. I have 2 new guns for you to shoot. 1 pistol, 1 long. Okay, Mr. Media, I'm not sure if you're talking to me or someone else. Yeah, no, it's not like a small SRO. It's actually a small RMR, so it's the square footprint. Kind of wish that they would have had, I wish they would have taken like the SRO, and rumor was that they were going to take the SRO and they were going to do like an aluminum housing SRO for like the SRO HD, like a heavy duty one. I thought that would have been pretty cool. I think that would have been cooler than doing like a miniature RMR, because the RMR window, is okay, but when you get the SRO, it's so much better. But with this little RMR, that window is even going to be smaller. Now, granted, for a small carry pistol, might not be that bad, but I don't know. I just don't think they hit the nail on the head. I think they should have gone a different way, like with the SRO, and just let Holosun have their deal with the 407 and 507. But what's up, Ohio Gear Guy? How are you, buddy? But, to each their own. I'm sure people are going to buy them. Let's see here. So there's that. Didn't know what y'all thought about the RMR CC. I think it was kind of just an answer to Holosun, but I don't know how many they're going to sell. Maybe they'll sell a lot of them. And also, it does not have the same footprint as the standard RMR and the SRO. So it's a little bit different footprint. So now you're going to have it milled for that. So I don't know. Yes. Okay, this is a good question. This is another comment I was going to talk about. Whoops, there it is. Hang on. All right. Hello, Kathleen. All right. Can you get 9mm down there in Texas? Yes. Texas Gun Experience has quite a bit of it. It's it's kind of like a Winchester white box, defensive ammo. It's not a huge selection of it, but they have been kind of keeping it in stock because they have decreased it to a 4-box limit. per caliber per day. So you can't come in and just buy a whole case of it unless they offer a case pricing where it's kind of set up for that. But they are managing to keep quite a bit of it in stock, you know, with the limit 4 per day per customer. So let's see here. And I don't know if y'all saw the video, but I went and shot the STI 45 because I had just tuned it up. I put new springs, I put a new firing pin spring in it. I put a toolless guide rod in it. I put a new guide rod spring in it, a 15-pound spring instead of, I think it was a 19-pound spring, and did that. And I was shooting it. It was working great. And then at the very end, it started hanging cases. So went back to the back and actually pulled the extractor out. Put it in a vise, bent the extractor, just the tip of it, so it would grab the 45 casing a little better. And then after that, it was butter. Because you could watch it in the video, and the casings are shooting out, and then they started shooting to the side. And I looked at the video, and I was like, okay, the extractor's hanging. So then I pulled the extractor out and did that. And after that, it runs flawless. That thing is a laser. I freaking love that thing. It shoots so good. Yeah, staccato Ps are cool. I have shot a staccato. Well, of course, I had the STI. I can't remember the name of it now. Drawing a blank. It didn't have the red dot, but the safety on the staccatos and stuff, it actually just chews a hole in my thumb because my hands are so big, and that's just where it eats right on the top of that knuckle. So I'd have to pull that thing off, smooth it, blend it, do all kinds of stuff. However, on the Terran Tactical John Wick gun, it doesn't bother me. And on that gun, Terran Tactical uses the Wilson Combat safety. So I've been told that you can just get the Wilson Combat safety and you can put it right on any STI. It just fits right on there. Now you might have to blend the inside of it where the shaft is, but it will fit. And it'll run great. So that's probably going to be the answer if I ever get a staccato or something like that. The only one I would get would be like the one with the Duo, where you could run an optic on it. It already had the suppressor sights and things like that. Let's see here. Thank you, Pistol Pete. Yes, it's a super, super fun gun. And I love 45. I mean, it's just, I mean, I was putting up some pretty damn good groups with rapid fire at that thing at 10 yards. I mean, they were smaller than my fist, all headshots. So it's definitely a shooter. And it's not completely dialed in just perfectly. It's just a little bit to the left. So I need to dial it a little bit to the right, and I'll be money with that thing. Yes, I've actually seen a box of 115 grain, just cheap, you know, ammo, not reman, but new, going for like $49 a box, and some people are trying to get $50 a box for it. I'm like, that's crazy. But, you know, people are doing it. John Wick's a very determined man. Yes, he is. Mr. Media got him a Staccato XC. So I was telling everybody, you know, I was telling you way back, stock up, stock up, stock up, because I had a feeling something crazy like this was going to happen, especially with this Chinese virus. All right. What I am seeing on shelves, and I don't know if y'all are, I'm seeing 40 caliber. I'm seeing a lot of shotgun ammo, you know, just bird shot, stuff like that, and some slugs. Not seeing any 22. It's pretty much gone. 22 short is still out there. I'm seeing some 45, even in bulk. 5.56, I'm still seeing 5.56 and 223. It's just not in the big cases, you know, like 1,000-round cases, because that's how I always bought it, was 1,000 rounds at a time. I didn't want to buy like one box of 20, things like that. But yeah, I have actually seen some 9mm going for $2 a round for 9mm, and that's full metal jacket. So that's crazy. Yes, I have seen some 10mm, not a lot, but I have seen it. Hello, Tennessee Patriot. How are you? Sorry, Big Al, I didn't see your question. If you want to throw it up there, if it's a question for me, I'll try to help you. Cellar and billet, $30 for 50. Yeah. I mean, there's some people that are just going pretty crazy with this. Yeah, 9mm and 223 is the hot one to find. Also, 300 Blackout is very difficult to find. Mark Delgado, Big J, do you know much and have any experience with Iver Johnson pistols? Reliable? I have only seen one Iver Johnson pistol. I saw it at K5 Armory. It wasn't mine or anything. It was theirs. But I've never shot one. They're kind of a custom. If I'm thinking of the exact one, they're kind of a custom pistol manufacturer. They're supposed to be really, really nice. And this one that I was looking at was really nice, but I've never shot one. So Mark, I really honestly don't have any, I don't have any true experience with it. So I don't want to tell you, yes, I do, or, I'm always honest with you. All right, Scott, and this is going to kind of bring me into my next question. I never bought into 300 Blackout. Some people like it, some people don't. Some people don't really have any experience with it. But my next question was 300 Blackout, or here, this is the way I'm looking at it. Would you rather have an AR-15 or a 300 Blackout? If you could only choose one, if you could only choose an AR-15 or a 300 Blackout. And I'm talking about, like, sorry, my computer was doing something weird. I'm talking about, whatever pistol length you want or barrel length, but would you rather have 300 Blackout or AR-15? And if you want, you could even say why. C2 Duo, 380, nowhere to be found. I'm not really a 380 fan. Matter of fact, to be honest with you, I sold all of my 380. I had tons of the 380 ammo. I don't even own a 380 anymore. And I sold all that to one of my neighbors at reasonable price. I didn't even mark it up. What I paid for it is what I sold it to her for, because she really needed it for personal defense for her gun. AR-15, AR-15, AR-15. Preference 223, but 300 Blackout is a good round. Okay, that's cool. Here's kind of where I look at it. Now, of course, AR-15, you can shoot 223 or you can shoot 5.56, depending on the ammo that you're using. If you're using like 77 grain or a pretty hard hitting round, it's going to do whatever you want it to do. And of course, you can get longer range, just not as much thump, I guess you could say. And on the 300 Blackout, you can use 110 grain, so you'll have plenty of speed. You can use 125, 150, 190, 220. There's a lot more variation that you can shoot in there. So you can shoot it subsonic or supersonic, whichever you choose to. But I am a 30 caliber freak. I put it off and off and off and off and off on getting a 300 Blackout. And I love my 308. Don't get me wrong. I love the 12.5 308. It's a blast, and it'll do whatever I want it to do. But having a 300 Blackout, I feel, and it is more of a niche than 223 and 5.56, of course, and the ammo is more expensive, now harder to find. But with a 30 caliber round, even at a close distance, with the correct ammo, I mean, I've seen, holes punched, not personally on videos and things. I've seen holes punched in people with 223, and they're still running and moving around. Now, of course, not headshots, just body shots, and they're still running around and jumping around and stuff like that. But usually pop them with a 308 or a 300 Blackout, and it might be all you can do. But their lights are out. So some circumstances I'll carry 223 rifle or pistol with me, and then some I'll carry 300 Blackout or 308 depending on where I'm going. Now 300 or 308, you can reach out farther. You can touch someone if you need to, and it'll take down pretty much any mammal that you need it to. So just kind of depends. That was just a question I was asking. I wanted to see where everybody was on that, kind of what y'all were thinking. Oh yeah, well, of course, Scott, he was about, yay far away too. I'm talking, if you're 100 yards or 75 yards, but yes, he got a lot of blast on that. Kyle, I think his name's Kyle. He definitely did some damage there. ND Irish says he reloads 300 Blackout, 30 to 40 cents a round. That's awesome. Let's see here. Yeah, I was gonna say he definitely vaporized it. That was definitely a chunk. Imagine if that would have been buckshot at that close of a range. He would have taken his arm off. That's pretty crazy. No, you're exactly right, LZ USA. 300 Blackout is not as accurate as 5.56 or 223 at long range. You're exactly right. But, you know, if you put them in, I mean, you can get, you know, you can even go within, you know, 2 to 3 inches at longer range with 300 Blackout. And on a human being, that's perfectly acceptable. But of course, 5.56, 223 is faster than 300 Blackout. 300 Blackout, you just have a little more oomph. But yeah, wanted to be a lefty. He's a lefty now. All right. Now that we're kind of talking about that, what is your favorite? And these are questions that I've been asked, so I'm asking y'all. What is your favorite AR length? Length of rifle. What's your favorite AR length? How long do you like them, or how short do you like them? Keith Gregory is saying they use AR-15s, not 300 Blackout. Actually, Keith, in special units, they run 300 Blackout also. I know a guy that does, or well, that did run 300 Blackout. So, you know, and it's a purpose-driven round, up close, personal, things like that. But yes, the most common is AR-15 by far. All right, we got 11.5, 11.5, 16, 14.5 to 16. Gotcha, 12.5, 20-inch. Just trying to see if I'm going to see what I shouldn't see. This is one reason I'm asking this question. I haven't seen it yet, so far we're doing good. 20-inch, 16, 16, 20, 18 for close long range, 8-inch with a can. Now this is where I kind of have a little bit of issue. Mr. Media, and I'm not picking on you or anything, but with 5.56 and 223, you know, with the dwell time and things like that, what it's designed for is a little bit longer barrel, at least 10.5 plus. I would probably say, you know, 11.5, 12.5, because sometimes with 8-inch, it just doesn't have enough dwell and it kind of poops out. Now I know with the suppressor, it's going to bring a little more back pressure in there, but you know, like a 5.5 and things like that. That's, for me, on a 223 or a 5.56, that's way too small. I've shot some 7.5s and they're kind of obnoxious because they're super, super loud. I'm sure you know that if you have an 8. You know, got a 5.5. I've never shot a 5.5 on a 5.56. Now, 300 Blackout, you can shoot, you know, a 5-inch, 6-inch, 7-inch, whatever you want. But I was just curious, and maybe you were talking about a 300 Blackout. I didn't specifically say AR 5.56 or 223 or anything. 10.5 to 16, 7.5, St. Victor. Okay. Kathleen, the question was, what length do you prefer in an AR? And it could be really a 5.56, 300 Blackout, things like that. 8-inch for 300 Blackout. Okay. 10.5. Started having issues. Yeah. And Scott, this is my big belief too. Anything below 10.5, you will have issues. I have a buddy of mine that has a 7.5. He's had all kinds of issues. He's done everything in the world with that freaking thing. It still won't run worth a crap. And then I told him, I was like, change the barrel, you know, change it out to a 10.5 and just see. He changed it up to a 10.5. It runs perfect. So, bald. Yeah. But, you know, my preference with a 5.56 is 5.56 is a 10.5 to a 12.5. And of course I have 16-inch also, but really like the 12.5 and the 10.5 at the least. And I do like the 12.5 just because I can have a little more length because my arms are long. But on a 300 Blackout, this is pretty crazy, but I actually prefer a 10.5 to a 12.5 as well. It's just my opinion. I don't really care for a 300 Blackout and a 16-inch barrel. I have a friend who has one. He likes it, and he has good velocity out of it. I just, I really enjoy the AR pistols. Depending on if you're going to go and, do a competition or something like that. Of course, a lot of them require a rifle, but I just think their AR pistols are just a blast. And they're easier to carry around in bags and things like that. Not that I would know anything about that. I don't know anything about carrying around ARs in bags. Don't know a dang thing about it. Yep. 10.5 piston. But piston guns are kind of heavy. That's the thing. You just create more weight and things like that. But Daniel Defense PDW, yeah. And like on that 308, a lot of people were like, why in the hell did you buy that POF 308 in a 12.5-inch barrel? The reason being is because I wanted it. I thought it would be really cool and really fun, and I was not wrong. That thing is awesome. It's pretty damn accurate too. And you can stretch it out there. You can get some distance with it. So I'm pretty impressed. And I have a buddy who has the same rifle, and y'all all know who he is, but I'm not going to say his name because he's got some stuff coming out on it. And he was taking it out to, I think, 600, 700 yards. And that's the POF 308 12.5-inch. And he was nailing some pretty accurate shots. So, there you go. Yeah, Keith, that's what we were saying. You're exactly right. I'd say 85% of them are using, 5.56 or Core 223, whichever 5.56. Okay, Brian. The POF, it will shoot 150. I've shot 150. I've shot 147 out of it, and I have shot 168. And it really does like the 168. Better as far as if you're shooting accurate, super accurate or trying to shoot super accurate groups, I would definitely go for the heavier bullet. However, it'll shoot all of them. But when I was shooting when I was shooting my Lancer 308 on the 150 grain, I mean, at 800 yards, I was kind of having to lob them in there because the grain was so light and it was so freaking windy. But I have shot my 308 Lancer with 168, and it just, I mean, that thing's a freaking laser. So, but the POF will do one of two things. It really likes, the POF really actually likes, it will shoot, what is it? 100, I think it's a Hornady round. I think it's 160 something Bowtail hollow point. It really likes it too. I can't remember the name of the round. I've got it written down in the book for the pistol, but I can't remember right off the top of my head. But I want to say it was like it's something with Hornady, and it's either 147. It's some weird round, but it does really like it. So. I think I missed one. Oh, 16-inch 7.62 by 39. I have an 18-inch 7.62 by 39. I do not have a 16-inch. Mine is an 18. Brian, how is yours running with the Fusion 150 grain? Just out of curiosity. Is it pretty accurate, or are you having, is it okay? I'd be interested to know, because I haven't shot any of the Federal Fusion. I've seen it, but I haven't shot any of it. All right. No problems at all. Good, good. All right, so we got that out of the way. Here's some more. We got that one out of the way. Okay. I got this question, and I have been seeing this being brought up quite a bit, and I kind of wanted to address it personally. I have had, I've given some bad kind of reviews on some pistols and said, I don't care for this pistol. I don't care for that pistol. But I do like this pistol. I don't like this pistol, whatever. And I'm always honest. I'm not, and this is, I guess, where I'm trying to go with it. Are y'all actually married to a pistol brand? So are you like a 100% Glock guy, 100% CZ guy, and you just don't have anything else, or you don't like anything else? Because this is a question that was brought up to me, and I have a buddy of mine who did a video. I'm not going to say who it is. I'm not even going to say the brand because I don't want to bring it up and I don't want to act like I'm a hater. But the brand is not a super quality brand you would think of. It's not one that you would just own a whole fleet of them. And people are losing their mind because it had problems. I mean, I've looked at the comments and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. It's like, oh, you did this, you did that, you did this. And I've gotten that too on some that I've shot. I've used different grains of ammo. And this particular gun that I was shooting, it hated 115 grain. It just hated it. It preferred 124 or heavier bullets. And I was like, I really want a gun that's going to shoot all grains of ammo and reliably. I don't want it to just fall out of the gun. I want it to kind of sling it out of the gun. And if it's not 8 feet, who cares? But I want it to clear the gun. And people were losing their mind over him saying, and it was all on video, this gun has problems. It's not great quality. It's a lot of problems, and he had to send it back. But are you married to a brand? It's pretty crazy. I really do like, what's up, X-Ring? I appreciate you being on, buddy. I mean, I really like CZ, but I have had some problems with a particular CZ back in the day. I did a video on it. I was like, not in love with this gun. Have had some problems. It doesn't like this particular ammo. It's kind of finicky. And I actually sold that gun to another buddy. And I told him, he was like, oh, no big deal. I run that, particular brand ammo anyway. So I was like, okay. But to be just, flat out, you're wrong, you're crazy. Everybody can get a bad gun here and there, but to just roast somebody because you're so brand loyal, and most of those people might only own that one gun or that one gun brand, and to defend it to the end of the earth is ridiculous. There is no reason to do that. We're gun reviewers. I'm kind of a gun connoisseur. I like to try different guns. I like my 19X. I like my P10C. I like my P10F. There's a lot of guns that I like, and there's some I don't care for. But man, I'm not married to anything. I'm just not. I might own a lot of particular brand, but I'm literally not married to anybody. All right, do like CZ. Hey, Screaming Skull Salon. My hair is a 9 out of 10 today. I appreciate that. Yeah, the wind kind of messed a little bit of it up. So it's probably not a 10, but I appreciate that. Just joking. All right, X-Ring's throwing out the 100% Glock for carry. There you go. I mean, and if it works, no problem. But if other people had a problem with a particular gun, yours might work great. Don't beat that person up because theirs is a particular lemon. I mean, they were just being completely ridiculous. It's like they had stock in that freaking company or they were part owner. And I was just like, I just can't believe this. On CZ, Glocks, Steyr. Yeah, I mean, I own FNs, all of them. I mean, I've got a bunch of different guns, and I like to kind of pick through different guns. And hell, I might carry one gun one week, the next gun the next week, And this is kind of, where I am. No, sir, I seem to go in spurts with different brands. I do like SIG, FN mainly, though, because you can get different sizes in the lineup that share spare parts. And, and I agree with that. And also with the Glock guys, I know Glock people have like a Glock 26, a Glock 19, a Glock 17 or a Glock 34. And then they have the 33 round mags, Glock 17 mags. So they're all compatible, and that's cool. But, have you tried, if you're a Glock guy, have you tried other guns? Have you tried a HK, or have you tried a CZ, or have you tried something? You can't really beat people up if you haven't ever personally tried it. But man, this these people were just like, I'm married to that brand and you're crazy. I was just like, what in hell's wrong with people? All right, Hail the Rooster saying, what I dislike is when someone says along the lines of buy one gun and that's it. I think one should get familiar with all sorts of firearms. Hail to the Rooster, I do agree with you. And that's kind of like me. You know, I've got striker fire, I've got single action, I've got double action, single action. I've got some bolt guns, I've got some semi-automatic rifles. You know, I've kind of got a little bit of mix of everything because I mean, I'm not a master at any of them. I'm not like, you know, the guru I'll never claim to be, but I want to be proficient in each one. So I'll shoot the double action, single action to get re-familiar with that. I'll shoot striker fire. You know, striker fire is just a constant trigger. So, but I like to shoot bolt guns for fun. You know, I like to do different things like that. But just to be married to one gun only or one brand only, and this particular brand is not the super highest quality brand. I'll just throw that out there. But LZ USA's got the 19X. Let's see, Ranger saying, Big J, I do carry different guns too. I've had people tell me that I need to stick with one. I totally disagree. What's your thoughts? Exactly, that's what I was just saying. I like to try different guns. You know, like I said, I like CZ. I really love CZ. I've had an issue with one particular CZ. Y'all can go back and look at the videos if you want. But for the most part, I'm just a gun connoisseur and like different guns. All right. Patrick is saying, I have become partial to hammerfire guns lately, carry a P07 and my Beretta LT or 92 LTT Elite, but do also carry my Shield MP Compact from time to time. That's awesome. You know, I think that the more familiar you can get with different platforms, if something were to go down and you were at a buddy's house and your gun didn't work or whatever that you had on you, and he had a Glock or a hammer-fired gun or whatever, you could grab that gun and you would be somewhat familiar with it. And I think that's why if you only shoot striker fire guns and you grab a double action, single action gun, when you pull that first shot in double action, it's going to be pretty stout. And I've seen people, you know, grab it, pull that double action and miss their first shot over the target. And then with their single action, you know, hit the target. So you want to kind of be proficient in all of them, I think. And also some people, especially new gun owners, you know, they're kind of scared of striker fire guns. And, you know, like even when I recommend a gun, I might say, you know, you might want to consider a double action, single action, because when you're holstering the gun, you can grab the hammer. And as you're loading it into the holster, if anything were to hit the trigger, it's going to try to push the hammer back. So, you know, you can pull out, clear your garment or whatever, and then go back in. So that kind of gives them an extra little sense of security if they're new to guns. But it's all up to the person. I always say, get what you want, shoot what you want, get what you like. Just make sure it's reliable. All right. Oops, here it is. Yeah, and a good friend who's a 1911 guy. I think most of us know at least one of those types. Yeah, and you know, back in the day, and I had double action, single action, and I carried 1911s all the time and really liked them. And I still love them. They're great guns. You just have to know how to work your safety and things like that. But to say the 1911 is the end all be all, I won't say that. You know, you're limited in capacity. They're very heavy. Even if you get an alloy one, you know, some of them only have 8 or 9 shots. Depending on the caliber. So, you know, depends on what you want to carry. And I will say this, as far as a 45, one of my best shooting 45s, and I think I own 4 or 5 30, no, I guess I got 5 45 calibers. And one of the best shooting caliber or 45 caliber guns I own, it's really crazy and I just don't shoot it that much, believe it or not, is my Shield 45. That little thing shoots so damn good. It's accurate, it's small. The way they built the recoil spring with the dual recoil spring in it, it controls recoil very well. And it's super accurate. And it holds, mine holds, what is it, 9 rounds? I think it holds 9 rounds of 45, or maybe 10 with one in the pipe, or 9 with one in the pipe, I can't remember. But, you know, I've had guys that have had alloy frame 1911 45s, and they'll put up a group, and then I'll shoot that little Shield, and my group's tighter, and they're like, how the hell do you shoot that small gun? And it's very small, but with the extension, it gives me more length for my hand, and it shoots good. But I just don't carry it or shoot it that much. Just sits at home in the safe. And it's got a great trigger, but it's all tricked out. Let's see here. Okay. I want to know what your, and I've had this question asked, I want to know what your most prized gun is. Like if there's one rifle, one shotgun, one pistol that you'll never get rid of. And it could be for nostalgia. It could be for like a memory you have with it. And it might not even be a gun that you shoot all the time, but you'll just never get rid of it. You have a fondness to it, or there's something about it. I would really like to know that. All right, let's see here. Roman's got his question. Do you think other manufacturers have some guns in the pipeline to compete with the micros like 365 and the Hellcat? Yeah, you know, you've got the CZ, what is it? The CZ-P10M, you know, the little single stack gun. You've got the P10S, which is pretty small. I'm sure somebody's going to come out with something else, but what I see is a turn coming again, where it's going to be back to the compacts. I think you've got the Shield, you've got, you know, the 365 XL and the regular 365, you've got the Hellcat. I think this little market in the P10S, like we were talking about, I think this market is kind of flooding a little bit. I don't really think a lot of more people are going to be jumping into that unless they already have it and they're just going to come out with like with a 2.0. But I think it's going to be going back towards the compacts or maybe even the full size. Because compact is kind of like the Glock 19, you know, kind of that size. It's kind of like the Goldilocks size, you know, because it's kind of a go-to-war gun size. You know, a lot of people either outside waistband carry it, inside waistband carry it. The other ones are kind of more pocket carry. And also, a lot of people go with the seasons. Like with summer, they might carry a really small gun. You know, I kind of carry, doesn't matter if it's winter or summer. But some people, now that we're probably going to be going into the cooler weather, they might be doing some compacts and things like that. However, with the COVID, who knows? So, steel frame PO1. Let's see here. Let me catch back up. Remington or 1100. That's my hunting since 1986. It's awesome. Berga 300 PRC. That's really nice. CZ P10 Micro. Yep. All right. My custom CZ Shadow 2. I showed you on Instagram. Yeah, Bagger Bro. That's nice. Yeah, I love my CZ Shadow 2. P10S. Titan 25 ACP. It was my grandmother's, and I will never part with it. Come and take it. That's awesome. Savage Model 24B. My great-granddad passed it down to my papa, and dad used to kill his first pheasants. That's cool. Sig Spartan. See, I think it's cool to find out what everybody has. Big boy steel 44 mag 20-inch. God dang. All right. Glock 34 slide. The Jack P10S. My dad's standard Mark 1 or his Remington 550-1. Dexter. Okay. Would you like to see more 5.7 options? Honestly, Dexter, no. I've had the FN57. It's cool. It's fun. Is it a do-all gun? No. Honestly, and this is just my opinion, 5.7's cool. I owned one. The ammo was expensive back when I had mine. I think the Ruger 5.7 is cool. It's kind of a niche gun, and it definitely serves a purpose. However, it doesn't do enough of everything that you need it to do. As far as penetration and stuff, it doesn't have it. I mean, you know, I know friends, like when I had my 5.7, I had a buddy of mine that had a 22 Magnum, and it was a pretty nice 22 Magnum. And everything my 5.7 did, his 22 Magnum could do. So, I mean, you know, I never really shot, I never tried to shoot bulletproof glass with it. So I think that it could penetrate maybe some bulletproof glass where a 22 Magnum might not. But I don't know. It's a niche gun. It's fun, but it's just not. I know the ammos came down quite a bit, or prior to this COVID. I just don't see a huge demand for it, and I really don't think anybody else is going to jump into that, in my opinion. All right, 97B, Frank. That's a great gun. I've got mine. I love it. Really, really nice shooting pistol. What mine is, and a lot of people might know about it. My most prized possession gun is my grandfather's German Mauser. It's an 8mm German Mauser. And it actually, and I'll just say it this way, it's a German Mauser with perfect emblems on it. Perfect emblems. I'm not going to say what the emblems are, but if you know German Mausers, real German Mausers, it has perfect emblems on it. And he was actually in the German war. He was on our side. He was a pilot, flew over there, did combat, and actually rescued this rifle and brought it back in his own plane. So that's pretty cool. And he left it to me. So I will never get rid of that. And I've done videos on it. If y'all want to see it, I show it up close. The gun is perfect. The only thing that is not correct on it is the stock. The stock was cracked and broken when he brought it back. So it does have a modern, more modern stock on it. So it's not the original stock. But it does have the flip peeps. I mean, it's the true sniper rifle for back in the day, I guess you could say. Thank you, sir. Bulletproof drywall. Yeah. I mean, there's, I don't know if y'all seen those bulletproof blankets that you could hang up on the wall and stuff. Those are kind of cool, but they're expensive. Yeah, there's some guns I'll never get rid of. Also, my Smith & Wesson 439. I have the original 439. That was my very first pistol. I actually got it for high school graduation. And let's just say it was in the 80s. So got it for high school graduation, and I will never get rid of it either. And it is immaculate. Does have the upgraded, now these were an option when you ordered the pistol. Does have the upgraded walnut grips. Does have the tactical blacked out sights. The trigger on it's unbelievable. Now it's double action, single action, but the single action trigger is unbelievable. And well, an 8mm will do. It'll take down what you want it to. Frank is saying he owns, where did it go? I own three bring back great rifles. That's cool. Yeah, and I have some crazy rifles, and there's a lot of stuff I don't even show. I have a 32 chicken gun, if you've ever heard of it. It's a single shot breakover. The barrel is a hexagon barrel, so it's not round, it's a hex barrel. It's about, I think it's a 16, yeah, it is a 16-inch barrel, and it shoots 32 ACP. My grandmother used to sit on the porch and shoot chickens with it for dinner. She'd shoot them in the head, just has peep sights on it, or a little standard stock sights, and used to shoot chickens with it. And you just break it open, pop 32 out, pop another one in, and shoot another chicken. So I won't ever get rid of that either. And I've got a lot of antique 22s. If y'all are into 22s, I've got some pumps. I've got some automatics. Really love old 22s. They're pretty cool too. Some of them are really, really hard to find. Some are worth some money. Yeah, and I'm kind of like you. If it goes bang, I love it too. 16 gauge. Yeah. Now, one gun that I have, and y'all can look it up, it's called a punt gun, P-U-N-T, punt gun. And it's a 10 gauge. The thing is, it won't even fit in a safe. It's so tall. I think it's almost 6 foot long from the ground up. Might be a little taller than that, but it's called a punt gun. And they used to put them on boats, and like you had to anchor it on the boat, and when you would shoot it, it would actually move the boat. And they're called punt guns. Yeah, it's a cannon. It is a freaking cannon. And I have shot it one time, and the thing is a beast. I mean, you could definitely take a flock of geese out of the air with this sucker. It's crazy. But I just kind of like weird stuff. I like stuff that, especially the older stuff that just not a lot of people have. And I could kick myself in the butt for getting rid of my Browning high power. I had the OG Browning high power back in the day. And man, I wish I could, wish I would have never got rid of that thing. Try to put a hole in a hole. Yeah, I guess you could definitely do that. Now, this is a story my grandfather told me. He actually said they would load up that punt gun and like small trees. I guess they would shoot slugs out of it. I can't imagine a 10 gauge slug out of a punt gun, but the small trees, they could actually shoot the trees and it would blow the center of the tree out and the tree would fall. So with one shot of that, you could actually take down smaller trees. You didn't even have to chop them down. But he's told me stories where he did that. And once he got the tree on the ground, then he would chop it up. But that's how they got some of their firewood, was with that damn punt gun. But those little stories like that are really cool. I like to find out more and more stuff about that. It is about 7:47. We're going to shut this down about 8 because I started about 5 minutes early. But wanted to see if y'all had any more questions, anything that you're thinking about getting, that you're seeing out there, that you're kind of getting excited about. I haven't really been seeing a lot. The Hudson H9, bringing that back does nothing for me. I'm still excited about, the DWX from Dan Weston, if we ever see it. If I have a feeling it's probably going to be, next year. But who knows? Yeah, the blunderbuss. Yeah, those things are freaking crazy. I've only shot one. That's, like black powder. I've had questions of people ask me, why I don't shoot black powder, or if I ever do shoot black powder. I've only shot one black powder rifle in my whole life. It wasn't mine. A friend of mine was like, hey, you need to try out this rifle. And I was like, okay. So he loaded it all up and packed it. And I just shot this big hunk of wood. I don't even know how far it was. It was probably 50 yards or something. And it was cool. I mean, the sights they were all on, but I don't even remember what caliber it was. But I've only shot one in my whole life. Suppressors. Yeah, suppressors I really like my suppressors. I think they're fun. But this is one thing this is my opinion, and this could actually be a question for y'all. I honestly feel I like, compensators on pistols. Y'all know that. But how do you feel about a suppressor on a pistol? Now, here's one thing. I really like 22 suppressors on 22 pistols. But does like a suppressor on a 9mm, a suppressor on a 45, does that excite you, or is it kind of a novelty? Because my opinion is the suppressors on like a 9mm pistol is more like a novelty. I mean, I've shot them. I don't own a 9mm suppressor, but I have shot them on pistols. And I think they're more fun, like on a PDW, like a 9mm Scorpion or Strybog or something like that. I think that would be cool. But on a pistol, I think there's a purpose for it, for like home defense. If you want to be, quieter and protect you and your family's hearing, I could definitely see a reason for that. But just wanted to see what y'all think about 9mm suppressors or 45 caliber suppressors on pistols. Yep, 9mm PCCs are fun, just for your ARs. Any suppressor would excite me. Yeah, I know, Bald, you're in a commie state. Have a 9 or Omega 9 on a 40 or 4.5 MPX. Novelty, in my opinion, still loud as hell. That's kind of what I was talking about, John Jeffries. They're not super quiet on a pistol. And also, even if you have suppressor sights, if you get some of the 9mm cans, they're still pretty big around. It's adding more weight on the front, which of course helps with recoil for some people. But I don't think they're super accurate. They're fun, but I don't. Hello, Havoc. They're just not. I don't think they're really my cup of tea. That's why I haven't bought a 9mm or a 45 or any of that. And I was going to say, Romans, that kind of ticks me off too, that you have to pay, the $200 tax stamp and all that other shit just for a muffler, because basically it's a muffler. You don't have to pay a tax stamp for a muffler on your car or truck. So why the hell do you have to, wait forever and pay a tax stamp for a damn muffler for your gun? But I do love them on rifles. Yeah, I was hoping about the Hearing Protection Act back when they were talking about it. I was like, oh man, they're going to pass that. We'll all get suppressors, da 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 da. I don't know if that's ever going to pass. You know, the ATF, like we've talked about before, just needs to go away. We need to have machine guns. We need to have anything we want. Should not be regulated. If they have it, we should have it. All right. Any more questions? MP5 and AKs, really all I want to run suppressed. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like on PCCs, Scorpions, you know, MP5s, they're cool. And I can see why you would want it, you know, like if you were some special operator and things like that. I know that I really like it on the 300 Blackout. I like it on, you know, the 5.56. It's not as quiet on the 5.56, of course, but, you know. Well, Romans, here's where I'm going. On the machine guns, you know, again, law-abiding citizens should be able to get what they want. Now, either this or say if there were machine guns being available to people, just have them take a little class. Maybe they shouldn't be regulated. Like you can't have that. That's where I'm going with this. Hell, some people, you know, shouldn't have anything. Some people shouldn't even drive a car, but you know, that is what it is. Mr. Media, yes. Did I hear what they are doing to Crossfire? Yes, I know. I know a couple of guys that are there, that are going to be there, and yeah, it's pretty cool. It's not going to be open to the public yet, or it's not going to be open to the public at all, but pretty cool what they're doing. Okay, what's my opinion on Magnum Research 1911s? I mean, I think they're fine 1911s. I don't think there's anything wrong with them. I think personally, for the price that you're paying for some of them, there's better options out there. That's just me. Magnum Research are cool. Some of them, you know, when they throw the Magnum Research name on it, they try to get a premium for it. That's just my opinion. Not that there's anything wrong with them. I think the 44 is cool, and you know, of course, they have the 50 cal and or 50 AE and all of that other stuff. But you know, I think there's better options out there. You know, we've talked about it before, Dan Wesson and things like that. They're going to be really, I guess, a little more fitted, or I don't really think Desert Eagles and things like that are super custom. I know that some of them have had problems. I've got a buddy who has one that has quite a bit of problems with his. He said to send it back a couple of times, but it wasn't a 1911. What is a good first hammer gun to learn on? You know, there's several out there. You can learn on a Beretta. You know, Beretta has a really good hammer gun. CZP10, or excuse me, CZP07 is a very inexpensive, and it is polymer, so it's a little lighter. That's a good hammer gun. You know, you can get into the SIG 226, you know, all of those, you're aware of those. It just depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for like a steel frame gun, polymer gun, but there's a lot of different options out there. You know, like back, of course, I'm older, but back in the day when I learned on some true hammer guns, man, some of those things had 12-pound double action pulls. I mean, you know, back when I was younger, trying to pull that thing back, I mean, your hand would start shaking because there was just the double action was just so unbelievably tight or strong. But, you know, SIG, PO7s, you know, something to that effect. It just depends on what you like, what fits your hands the best, what's in your price point. I just wouldn't cheap out on it. I wouldn't go like super, super cheap and say, oh, this one will be good. You could have some problems with some of those. SPO1 is tactical, is a good gun. You know, if you really want, here's where I would go with this. If you're wanting to get a good gun for like maybe home defense, competition, you know, steel frame gun, this is just my opinion. Okay, so take it for what you will. I have the SPO1. I have the CZ75 Omega. I have a lot of those. The Shadow 2 for the money You're going to get a better trigger. It's more ergonomic for a lot of people. Now it is more expensive than the SP01. However, there's more upgrades you can do to it. Now the SP01, you can do a lot of upgrades, but you're going to spend a ton of money, to try to get it to the Shadow, and you're still not going to have the Shadow 2 frame, which is the bigger frame, more contoured, a little more sleek, things like that. I would just get a Shadow 2. I would save up the money, and if you're going to do it and you want a great do-it-all, because I have seen people, I've told them this. I'm like, hey, Shadow 2, they're like, Shadow, or SP01 or Shadow 2. And I'm like, Shadow 2. And then they'll buy the SP01 and they'll shoot it, the double action stouter and things like that. And it's a great gun, don't get me wrong. But then they go and try a Shadow 2 and they're like, I should have bought a Shadow 2 the first time and saved the money. And I agree. Shadow 2 Compact is a good gun. Yeah. I've had SP01 and Shadow 2s forever. I mean, I have 3 Shadow 2s. So, yeah, Kevin Jung saying that. Yeah, save for the Shadow 2. I mean, I agree with that. Well, and, Indie Irish, I'm only giving my opinion. I do love the Shadow 2. It's just a fantastic gun. If you're looking for that, I mean, you could get a Beretta LTT Elite. You could get, there's other options out there. It's depending on what you're looking for. Yeah, and if you want a little smaller version, I would recommend the Beretta LTT. You don't have to get a big Shadow 2. So, yes, and you can carry a Shadow 2 if you want to. The only thing I wouldn't is, I personally wouldn't carry a Shadow 2. If you're going to carry it all the time, I would probably recommend an SP01 Tactical. Now on the Shadow 2, you can use the safety. But, it's really more of a competition gun. You could use it for a self-defense gun, but it just doesn't have, like what is it called? There's some components that are, I can't remember the damn name of that thing, for the safe, like the drop safe deal or whatever. I mean, it's set up like it's set up. I just can't remember the name of it. I'm sorry. I actually have put mine in a holster. My Shadow 2, I've put it in a holster, and I appendix carried it. So if you're built correctly, you could appendix carry it. You could, of course, outside waistband carry it. There's a lot of things that you could do with it if you choose to carry it. Yes, and I have carried my SP01. I've carried it quite a bit. All right. Firing pin block. I think that's it. Yes. Yes. Sorry. My brain is fried. It's been a very long day. And I don't know if you saw it on Instagram, but I've had 2 huge margaritas. They were really good. It's been a long day, so I needed some drinks. And I'm not an alcoholic, I promise. But, okay, let's go ahead and shut it off. We'll stay on 2 more minutes. If you have any quick questions I can answer, we'll jump into it. If not, I'll go ahead and you can throw the questions in there. I do appreciate everyone being on. It means a lot that you're on. Keep the questions coming over. If you want to answer questions, you can DM me on Instagram. That's where I get a ton of questions. Of course, I get comments in on videos and stuff like that, but I actually write them down. Also, if you want to send me like pictures of a tricked out gun that you've recently done, I know a lot of people have, you can send it to me over on Instagram. I love to look at some of the guns and the custom work that people have done. So hit me up like that if you want to do it. Yeah, and I get a lot of weird people on Instagram too. I think we all do. But if I kind of see who you are and stuff like that, I'll check your stuff out. But I get a lot of that. Well, y'all all know if you have Instagram, I get some weirdos on there. Let's see here. Yes, we will be back on next Wednesday. I'm not sure about 1776. If not, we might have another guest on, but we will do it next Wednesday, or I will do it next Wednesday. But I appreciate y'all as always. Oh, sorry. I wanted to answer this. All right, Havoc. Yes, I appreciate you very much, man. Yeah, like I said, I appreciate y'all coming on and spending your evening with us. And, hit those thumbs up. We definitely love it. Appreciate it, Kevin Jung. Hit those thumbs up, see Kim. Yeah, because that always helps us. And, you know, like I said, I love you guys too, man. It's, you know, y'all be safe, watch out for one another, protect yourselves, carry on everywhere you go. Even if the signs are posted. Hello, Kathleen. Oh, thank you so much. Hugs and kisses. I appreciate it. Oh, hugs. I'm sorry. Yeah, we won't kiss, but hugs. But appreciate y'all so much. And if you have any questions after the chat, please leave them. I'll definitely answer them for y'all. And appreciate y'all so much. Have a great night. And remember, carry on. Thanks, everyone. Y'all take care.